Holy cow, here we go. You're live. They tell me what's up, everyone. Aaron Nagler here, Cheesehead TV, coming to you live on Thursday evening. I believe it's Thursday. These days all blend together, quarantine being as it is. Thanks so much for tuning in, for joining me to talk some Packers. Because what the hell else are you going to do, right? You can't just sit around and mope. What is? Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks until we have a whole new draft class of Green Bay Packers to pick apart, to complain about where they were drafted. Can't wait for the Twitter meltdown. Whoever general manager Brian Gutekunst selects, there will be complainers. Hello to everybody in the comment section. Aaron Nagler, what is up? Big B. Big B, great job on trivia today. You were throwing down. I'm sorry you couldn't win it all, but you did a great job. Javier, what's up? Tony, hello. Jared. Mike, that is a great question. So are we not going to have the Browns come to camp anymore? I got to think that is all TBD. Who knows when camp will be, what it will constitute, if there is a full camp, if there's only, say, 2 weeks before the season starts, or the season is pushed back. Literally was having these discussions today with sponsors, with possible partnerships for Cheesehead TV in the football season. Everyone's guessing, man. Everyone is guessing at this point. So who knows? We'll see, though. I mean, I know the Browns were set to come to Green Bay and participate in joint practices, camp. I would think it probably would get pushed back and or canceled until next year. We'll see. That's just a guess on my part. That may have been reported elsewhere, but there's been nothing official said in that regard. Sup, Nags? Jonathan, how are you? Ken, hello as well. Hey, Nags. With the Bengals probably drafting a quarterback with the first pick, would I also draft a quarterback with the first pick? Yes. Could you see Wagner bounce back after getting away from Patricia? Yeah, okay. 2 parts there. Could I see Wagner bouncing back? 100%. Do I think it's in part to do with Patricia? No. I don't think his head coach had much to do with Wagner having a subpar year. He certainly took a step back from his previous years as far as his level of play, especially in pass protection, but I don't think Matt Patricia had a lot to do with that. Now, could he bounce back? 100%. Don't think there's any question there. Beard is looking good. Thank you. Thanks very much. I'm not shaving until whenever they tell us we can leave our homes and go to a bar and or restaurant. Until that moment, it's just going to keep growing. Nags, offensive line or defensive line in the first round? My suspicion is that it will be defensive line. If you haven't checked out my video chat with Maggie Loney from yesterday, make sure you do that. It's right here on the channel. And hey, if you hit like and or subscribe, especially if you hit subscribe, you'll be alerted every time there is a new video. So you would know this. Yeah, I think Blacklock is a good chance there at 30. I think defensive tackle makes all the sense in the world, given how it certainly appears that this draft will shake out in the first round. I think there will be lots of wide receivers taken. I think there will be lots of offensive tackles taken. There will be probably 3 and or 4 quarterbacks taken. All of that should push down the defensive tackle talent into the bottom half of the first round, including down to number 30. And I think there's a very good chance that the Packers go DT at 30. I'm not saying that's a lock. I'm not saying that, this is exactly what will happen. But there's a good chance that's how it plays out. Now, could there be an offensive tackle there that they like? 100%. And would I be surprised if they took one? Not at all. But defensive tackle is where it really I think the value is going to be, and I think that's where they'll see it. Now, maybe there's a playmaker at wide receiver available at 30 that they don't want to pass up and or have their eyes on that they think they just have to take. That wouldn't surprise me either. But I do think the talent married with the value will be at defensive tackle at 30. Joseph, thank you so much for the super chat. Is there a sleeper running back you like in the later rounds? No, not yet. I mean, we'll see. I mean, at this point, I'll be shocked if there's a running back taken in the first round. And that's got to push everybody down. Anybody talking about sleeper running backs in the later rounds at this point, those could potentially be undrafted guys. I'm not exaggerating. Like, there are guys with first round talent who will probably, at the running back position, who will probably, not guaranteed, but probably be pushed into at least the second round, if not the third. You have to think that pushes everyone else way down the boards, if not out of the draft. So, yeah, there's no one that really jumps out to me. I mean, I would love it if Jonathan Taylor got pushed down to the 60s and the Packers took him in the second round. I know a lot of fans don't want to hear that, but I would absolutely love it. Jitsu, thanks so much for the super chat. Does Davante make your all-time Packers wide receiver team, and what wide receiver is he? Yikes. Wide receiver 3, 4, I think I remember you saying Hudson is your fave. Okay. Lofton is probably my endearing favorite as far as like my childhood memories. Sterling Sharp, to my mind, to my eyes, is undoubtedly the best wide receiver I ever saw, not only in green and gold, but in the NFL in general. He is by far the greatest wide receiver I have ever seen, and that includes Randy Moss, who I think is probably the most physically gifted, but wasn't as good as at everything that Sterling Sharp did. And if Sterling had stayed healthy, I think there wouldn't even be a debate about this. Don Hutson dominated like no one else, other than maybe Jerry Rice, who clearly puts up the numbers and had way more games to do so, etc. So you got to have Sharp, and you got to have Hudson in that conversation. I would throw Lofton in there. And then it becomes like, are you talking Nelson, Adams, Driver? Man, that's tough to pick between the three of them. For my money, talking me, you got to throw Greg Jennings in there as well in latter day, wide receiver conversations. To me, I probably go Jordy Nelson. I think he was the most physical of those guys. I think you look at the damage that Driver did as the all-time receiving leader with numbers-wise with the Packers. You cannot deny that. Greg Jennings was probably the best technician. Davante Adams is probably the greatest release man off the line of scrimmage. No question there. But to me, I think Jordy did the most of all of those areas. If you combine them all as a receiver, so I probably put Jordy at number 4 and then Adams at number 5. That's just me. John Reese, thanks so much for the super chat. Very nice of you. Do you see them playing in London this year? Well, Travis, it won't be this year, but next year maybe. 2021 is probably your best bet. But won't happen in 2020, though. What? No Philip Epps. Nice. No Philip Epps. No Don Beebe, unfortunately. Let me see what else we got here. Chances Vikings mess up their virtual first-round pick. Let time expire for the third time in their history. That's context. That's the amazing thing. They've done it twice. Not just like they let time run out once and everyone made fun of them. And it was like, oh, this amazing moment in draft history. Probably will never happen again until the same team does it again. What? That's how incompetent they are. That's the ridiculously absurd notion of the Minnesota Vikings in general. The fact that not only once, but twice they have allowed time to expire on their selections in the draft. Who else does that? And I know it has happened to other teams. I think to one other team. But the Vikings have done it twice. Come on. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. As far as a virtual draft goes, who knows? I'm sure they'll come up with something. They'll have a Zoom background that includes their entire draft board, or they will kick the internet cord out from the GM's laptop. I mean, they'll do something to reinforce the fact that they are the Vikings. There's zero doubt in my mind. I want to see this clip on Twitter tomorrow. I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin. Better chance. We draft a running back 1 in the next 2 drafts or sign Aaron Jones to another contract. 100%. I think both could happen, but I think 100% they sign Aaron Jones to another contract. They will not ever make him a workhorse back, such as it is in today's NFL, but I will be absolutely shocked if he is not signed to a second contract. I don't think it will be a Todd Gurley type contract with the Rams or an Ezekiel Elliott type contract with the Cowboys, but it will be something that makes sense for both sides. There's no question that the offense is 100 times better with Aaron Jones than without him. And I think the Packers recognize that. They realize that what they have there. I don't think they'll let him get away. It's just guesswork on my part, but we'll see. Devontae has done it without a number 2, which has hindered his production. Has it? I'm not so sure I agree with your police work there, Norm. I mean, if you want to. Sterling Sharp did the same thing. Everyone knew they were throwing to Sterling Sharp. Brett Favre forced it to Sterling Sharp each and every game. Kind of like Rodgers did in that Seahawks playoff game. You know? It's just, yeah. I mean, I get it. I get what you're saying, but if you're transcendent, you're transcendent. It doesn't matter if you have a number 2, right? I mean, Randy Moss, it didn't matter who was across from him. Yeah, that's just my thinking there. No Jeff Janis in your top 5. Come on. I mean, I'm just glad that Jeff and I are on good Twitter terms again. He made a joke on one of my tweets after getting after me for criticizing the special teams coach a couple years ago. So that's, I'm just glad we're cool again. You missed Super Chats during trivia. Dustin, I apologize profusely. Trivia is not the best time to hit up the Super Chats, but I will do what I can next time around. T. Higgins at number 30. Clay back at inside linebacker. Simon, that's 2 questions, and that's a lot of question marks, but Higgins at 30 is a bit rich for my blood. I think he's going to be a good player in the NFL. I think his ceiling probably means he won't be drafted in the first round, but we'll see. It's all in the eye of the beholder. But Clay, all right. Clay Matthews at inside linebacker. Bring him back. I hear the shouts. I hear it in my Twitter feed every day, seemingly, the last couple weeks since he's been released by the Rams. Look, I love Clay. All-time great Packer. No doubt about it. Was he snubbed in the 2010s All-Decade team? Without a question. The man has not played inside linebacker, specifically for the Packers, in 5 years. He hasn't gotten more explosive and less injury-prone since then. Was he productive for the Rams last year? No doubt about it. Do you want to bank on bringing him in, paying him whatever salary he's going to demand? Because let me tell you, Clay Matthews is not coming on board for the veterans minimum with some possible incentives. He's not going to play special teams. You're going to use him as a rotational pass rusher and or inside linebacker because of what? Nostalgia? No. Look, again, love Clay. Love what he gave to the franchise. Helped bring home a Lombardi. God bless him forever. But it's time to move on. It's time to look forward. As they said in Frozen, let it go. Tim, I think it's clear that Lane is staying. I can only imagine that there have been questions about Lane Taylor possibly being cut. And let me say, Andy, to your question here or your comment, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Lane is on the 53-man roster when they open the season and or even on the 90-man roster when they open camp, whenever that may be. The draft weekend will reveal a lot. Now, is it likely that Lane is on the squad? Yes. Is there a possibility he gets moved and or cut? 100%, absolutely. I wouldn't count anything as a for certain until after the draft. Again, do I think Lane's a better player than Billy Turner? 100%. But they paid Billy Turner, and they could probably make more room by letting Taylor go than letting Turner go. So, yeah, I do think there's a good chance that Lane Taylor is on the squad in 2020, but never say never. And if Gutekunst, and he's done this a couple times, he will wait until he's required to make a move rather than, okay, let's make this move to be open to possibilities. I think there's a good chance that if he wants to make a move and needs to make some cap space, Taylor being traded and or cut is one of those possibilities. Let's see what else we got. Next, what's your thoughts? I just talked about this. Denzel Mims at 30th pick. It's a bit rich for my blood, but I wouldn't hate it. I'm all for adding talent and or explosiveness at the wide receiver spot. Give Aaron Rodgers some weapons. And hey, as I said on Twitter a couple weeks ago, if they go heavily or predominantly defense early in this draft, I would not begrudge Aaron Rodgers throwing a one-man riot / hissy fit. I really wouldn't. I mean, you guys know. Anybody who's followed me for any length of time knows I am not an Aaron Rodgers apologist. I will call him out for whatever BS that I think is necessary. But he has every right to be pissed if they go defensive heavy again in this draft. 1,000%. They have given the defensive side of the ball untold amounts of attention in the draft the last decade. It's not even an exaggeration if you go back and look at the history. Give Aaron Rodgers some talent. I don't care if it's offensive tackle. I don't care if it's wide receiver. I don't care if it's tight end. Give Aaron Rodgers some talent on the offensive side of the ball for once. Oh, I picked 3 wide receivers on the 3rd day a couple years ago. Give Aaron some premium talent. He's got a couple years left in him. Give him some bullets to fire. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. I mean, you've given Mike Pettin, Dom Capers, whoever on the defensive side of the ball, all of the ammunition. Meanwhile, you're asking Aaron Rodgers to make do with the Geronimo Allisons and Jake Kumerows of the world, who I love. I champion. You guys know. I'm all in on their possibilities and or upside. I get it. But let's give Aaron something. Let's not make Aaron do all the work for once. Let's give him some hope. A new hope. You know, here's the Packers Super Bowl window flying over the thing in the opening part of Star Wars, you know? And here comes a Rebel Blockade runner. Like, that's Aaron Rodgers, like running away from certain doom. Like, give him a new hope. A new hope. Some new talent to work with. You know? And I get he's got Devontae Adams. He's got Aaron Jones. I get it. And Sternberger, I think, is going to ball out this year. I'm there. I'm on board. But you've spent ungodly amounts of not only draft capital, but free agency dollars to improve the defensive side of the ball. At some point, the defensive coordinator has to make do instead of the superstar quarterback. That's all I'm saying. Brandon, thanks so much for the super chat. If Love is available, is there a better trade back partner than the Colts? 30 plus 6th for 203 and a 4th gives them a 5th year. I think the Colts are a very realistic proposition and or possibility to trade back up into the 30th spot. I mean, you never really know. Maybe the Dolphins don't select a quarterback early because they think they can go get Love. I know there's been a lot connecting them with Tua, but they don't love Tua. Again, it's so subjective and it's all eye of the beholder nonsense there. They don't love him, so they think they can get Love, and they do like Love. Who knows? I'm not a huge Love fan, but maybe they are. So yes, I think the Dolphins, the Colts, there are a couple teams where the Packers are in a perfect spot as far as getting possibly getting calls from teams that think we can jump up to 30 from the 2nd round, secure that 5th year option. There's no doubt in my mind that they will be fielding calls provided they're on the clock when 30th happens. Maybe they trade up. I don't know. I mean, I doubt they do, but you never know. Take 1 or 2 more. Aaron makes work by himself. He holds the ball too long. Russell, that is, of course, correct. I do not dispute that whatsoever. You know what he's done while holding the ball too long? Won the MVP award twice and guided the Packers to a Super Bowl. He is now older. He has now progressed in his years. Give him some help. They've brought in a new coach, brought in a new offense. They've got some weapons in Davante Adams and Aaron Jones. They've got a running game that they can lean on. Give them a few more weapons. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's insane. Just give them a few more weapons. Give your aging superstar quarterback another weapon. That's all I ask. I don't think that's too much. I don't think that's crazy. Nathan, thank you so much for the super chat. Stressful time for everyone, but we can all go to bed knowing that not only did the 49ers pass on Rodgers, but they also chose Solomon Thomas over Mahomes. Nathan, yes, correct. They also kicked the Packers' ass twice last year and have kicked the Packers' ass a bunch of times in the last 5-6 years. So as much as I love bagging on anybody who passed on Mahomes, I can't really get too excited about the prospect of bashing the 49ers because they've kicked the Packers' ass a lot. Now, much of that is because they've had, top 10 draft picks for a long time. And look, yes, did they beat the 49ers on national television in McCarthy's final year? Sure. But they did it to a third-string quarterback, and they needed a last-second play to make it happen. So, yeah, 49ers, yes, they did. But I'm not going to dance on that grave. Now, you want to talk about the Bears passing on Mahomes in favor of Trubisky, in favor of trading up for Trubisky? Always on board with that. Always here for that song. I'm always here. Always here. Whenever you need me. Email me, tweet me, whatever. Talk to me in the Twitter chat, YouTube chat, whatever you need. Always here to sing that song for you. All right, I'm going to have to go. Thank you so much for all the comments and questions. Love you guys. Dustin, Nine Noom didn't cheat. I know everyone wants to say the guy who won trivia today cheated. Didn't cheat. Y'all are sore losers. Get on board. 192 of you here on a Thursday afternoon. Can't thank you guys enough. 2 weeks until the draft. The Packers are going to add probably, 8 to 12 new players. And hey, by the way, check out Wes Hodkowitz's chat today at Packers.com because Corey Banke, co-founder of the Green Bay Packers, of Cheesehead TV, gets a mention, gets a shout out. It's glorious stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks so much for chatting Packers. Hit like, hit subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We're devoted. Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Talk to you guys tomorrow.